Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the SoWatchPodcast. For y'all that don't already know, I'm your girl Key.
I'm your girl Treasure.
And guess what one we're doing? One of my favorite shows! SOC, for everyone that knows. If y'all didn't watch the previous videos, you know what SOC stands for, right guys? If not, Treasure, please tell them what it is.
It is selling the OC.
There you go. Awesome. And if y'all are new to the channel, we do got with the acronyms, so y'all got to keep up. If y'all haven't been keeping up, you could definitely go watch the rest of our videos. The link is down below. So we're in Selling OC season 12. Yeah. So 12. That's French, right? We're going French, not Spanish. French. I was trying to say Spanish, but okay. Anyway, so we're in season 3 here. So if y'all didn't watch our last video, season 2 is literally a hot mess to me. If I like to call it, quote unquote, we would call season 2 of Selling the OC like the Hall and Tyler show, to be quite honest, because that's what last season was all about. Couldn't stand it. Thank goodness for me, in my opinion, this season was a little bit better. Drama very much seemed I'm going to get into it, seems very staged this season. I'm not going to lie, spoiler alert. But at least it was better than just this Tyler Alex Hall nonsense. So let's get right into it. So we go in, let's just talk about the first drama that kind of comes out of the season, right? We have the whole thing with Gio and Kayla, how Gio basically thinks that he should be getting some sort of commission or some sort of credit for the compensation for the fact that he helped Kayla get this $28 million listing, which is the highest in their office, her first ever highest of her career, and he thinks that he should have part in it. To be quite honest with you, I'm just going to get started. I would be like, hell to the no. Like, relax. Just because you may have given some insight of your secret sauce, whatever you want to call it, they didn't want you. So if they didn't want you on it and didn't say specifically, I want you and Kayla to sell the house, you don't entitled to nothing. At the end of the day, it seems to me like at this point that Gio is definitely not a team player. He wants to maybe be a team player when it comes to where he gets something out of it and someone does something for him, then it's like, okay, we're a team, but after that, no, I'm all by myself, solo dolo, and I'm like not for it. So
yeah, it was really strange too to see this because, it matched his personality because he was always the cocky one, but it was also like last season it was like him and Kayla were like best friends. It seemed like because she'd always like talk to him and like went to him about drama that was happening, nothing to do with her, but like, and she would always go to Gio and talk about it. So seeing this, it was like, okay, what happened in that short space of time? They didn't really answer that question, but anyways, Gio thought that he should get some of her some type of compensation, and it was like, well, no. And obviously, because this is the biggest listing that Kayla's had, and I think it was the biggest listing that anyone's had in the office. And so it was $28 million, and everybody was kind of like, okay, well, like, good for you. And then they're also kind of like, though, like, being shady about it. Obviously, this is
like, why did you
selling OC? So it was like, how did she get it? Like, she's never had any listing that was over like 4 million, I think someone said.
Yeah.
So they're like, how did they let her get it? And who knows? We don't ever find out how she got it, but she was one of the people that were selected at the office, and then they ended up going with her. Yeah. So yeah, that is basically the beginning. Then we end up finding out, as she said, last season was the Tyler show, so everybody was kind of wondering, did they end up dating? Like, what happens? And again, I'm just going to go into, like, filming schedule. Like, this is the worst show to, like, this is a show you're watching because you're bored, not because you don't know what's going to happen, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because everything that's happening right now happened, like, a year ago or 2 years ago.
And you're seeing it in the public eye, in the news, and all this
exactly.
stuff.
So we already know what happens.
Exactly.
So the show needs to fix that whole 100%. Scheduling. Like, their scheduling. Like, it's just stupid. Like, you need to be pumping it out the way that they pump out Too Hot to Handle. Like, and Love is Blind. Like, you need to, that's what the schedule needs to be on if you're going to be doing it. Or you need to have them all sign NDAs.
Better NDAs than what y'all be having them on it.
So they can't talk about anything, and like, because it's just kind of ruining the show for me. Yeah. Not that you can really ruin OC, because whatever. Anyways, so will they, won't they, did they end up dating? And apparently you hear like 2 different sides of the story. Alex says that, or Hall says that he kissed her and then he left the next day to go to, where did he go? Australia?
On like
to go to Australia
trip?
For like 2 weeks or something like
that.
Yeah,
something like that.
And Tyler says that she knew about the trip the entire time and he like called her and texted her. So that should have been Gucci for her. And she's like, I'm a grown-ass woman. What is a text gonna do?
No, like, seriously.
Which, she's stating facts. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, you texted me or whatever, but it's like, you kissed me and then you left. Like, what am I supposed to do with this information that I have here, basically? Like,
yeah, like you kind of...
I'm like that now, and I'm not in my 40s, or like close to it,
yeah.
so.
No, for real, like, literally just, like, as she said, swooned me and then just left. Like,
yeah.
What is that? Like, that's some, like... And the thing is, this is my problem that I'm having with this. He says all the right things. Oh, I want to be married. I'm 34. I wanted to be married and have kids by now. Yada, yada, yada. This, and that. But yeah, you don't act like it, because if you really did, and this is someone that you're saying that you want to actually explore this, but you would have done
know
so
how to
much
get
better
there.
than that.
You've gotten there. You've like made it to home run, which is like marriage. You've been married, so you know how to like sooner girl. You know how to get them. You know how to keep them.
Thank you. Yeah.
Keep them. So it was like everything that Alex was saying was like made sense.
Yep.
That it was like, okay, you're telling me one thing, but your actions are not following that, and I'm gonna have to go with your actions on this. Like, yeah, you're telling, and then it's like she just had the whole standard thing about liking a guy, which was they don't match what they're telling me.
Inconsistent.
But I have chemistry with this person, and like, but like my heart is set on this person.
Right.
I'm gonna move on, but like if they're gonna pull me in, I'm gonna get pulled, basically. So that's basically what Alex is doing with this entire season, even though she had someone on the side. There are said to be rumors that he wasn't actually the co-owner of TikTok or whatever the case was. I don't know. There was allegations that was a lie. So who knows with that? But in the end, it just shows her with like a passport, and you don't know where she went. I personally think that she went on the date with the other guy because Tyler flopped because he's Tyler. So I think she was like, okay, well, bye.
Yeah, I would be too. I will say for her, she made the right decision. When it comes to certain things of what she wants, you got to go with what, honestly, sometimes you got to go with what makes sense. Like, I guess when you're younger, you go with what your heart says and the chemistry.
When you're younger, you have time to go and like follow the man across the world and like... waste time and like see if he's gonna change because you don't really know that men can't change yet. Yeah. But she has kids. She knows better. So she knows what she can and can't do, and she's like, I want a man. And if you're not gonna be a man, then like
I can't.
Heart be damned, I'm gonna find one. So
no, you're gonna find one. And like she said,
I don't have to wait for another season because I don't want another season to transpire. And we're gonna get more into why. Yeah. So let's get into
the next drama, which is going to be the whole starting of Sean Mess. Sean Mess. For if y'all don't know Sean in The Office, okay. Up to this point, for the past 2 seasons, he's been very quiet.
He's very much a C character. Yeah. B character being The Office, and he's a C character, okay? Yeah. And in the first season, you see him with Paul, and you're like, okay, whatever, like, who is this guy? But they don't really ever they don't dig into him, and so you're like, okay, whatever, let him fade into the background. Second season, you would see him sitting there, but, like, he didn't partake in any of the conversation, really. Now, this season, whatever, he decided to go out and say all these things, all these allegations to be the center stage. Yeah. And so, what transpired was... Sean had been telling people, supposedly in the office, allegedly, that Austin invited him to come to his house with his wife so they could have a menage a trois. And Austin finds out that Sean had also said that Austin's wife made weed cookies to try and drug him, and then Sean did not feel comfortable, and so he's like, I had to leave because they were hitting on me too much, yada, yada, yada. Austin finds this out, and he gets annoyed. Well, actually, he gets really angry because he's like, first of all, we invited you over to come for dinner because you told me that you missed me because we don't hang out as much. Number 2, you're saying that I want to have a menage a trois with you when my kids are upstairs. Yeah. And number 3, you're saying that I would ever want to do anything with you. Yeah. And that
my wife is cooking weed.
Yeah, my wife is cooking, like, is drugging you when my kids are in my house. Like, and so he gets really, really mad at that. Now, when he does confront Sean, it's at the office. And at first, he's like, Sean, let's go talk. And he goes to try and talk to him. And then Sean's like, I'm not dealing with this. And he, like, walks away. Then Austin comes inside. And then everyone's like, what's going on? Yeah. And then Sean comes back. And he's like, okay, fine, if you want to talk, let's talk. Which I thought was super weird. I was like, what the hell? Like, What? Yeah. Like, what is going, like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then, whatever, they go back outside to talk, and he's like, okay, so, like, what's up? Like, why are you saying all this? And Sean's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Annoying. And then, obviously, Austin gets more, infuriated, and it gets to be almost physical, but the boys in the office, Tyler and Gio, step in, and, like, nothing really happens. He does push him a little bit, but it's, like, no use of hands, like, with his body.
Yeah.
So, he can't be charged. But anyways.
Yeah.
Let's dissect this, okay?
Yeah. No.
I personally think that I would behave exactly the way that Austin did. I would want my husband to behave the way that Austin did. I personally don't think he did anything wrong, especially because he didn't even touch him. He knows, the law. Him. Yeah, he knows the law of, I didn't use my hands. You know what I mean? Like, I think everyone that has gone into fights knows, to not use your hands, because then they can't put anything against you because you didn't use your hands, Yeah. So I need my husband to react that way or whatever, because it's no, me drugging you thing with my kids in the house, that could be CPS being called on them.
No, 100%. That could get blown out of proportion and for nothing.
Yeah, there is a lot of talk that people, were saying that Austin was a rageaholic and everything like that. And I was like, bro, if he's only a rageaholic when it comes to his wife and his kids, I'll take it.
Yeah, no,
I'll take it, because any other time, he's drinking excessively and he seems like a party boy or whatever, but no. You messing with his kids and wife, whatever, I think is a step too far. Yeah. And I think he reacted normal. I
think he did a good job. He didn't, like you said, didn't use his hands. Yeah. Didn't whatever. Tried to get down to the bottom of it. Didn't call him any names. Didn't say nothing derogatory. No anything.
Sean was also being pretty evasive, so is also heightening him being reactive. Yeah. And I just think there's only so much a man can take. Yeah. That it's really you guys are gonna call him a rageaholic because did you see what I saw? That's kind of crazy to me. There is the whole, obviously, is it true that this happened, that they tried to persuade him to join them, or was it not? What do you think about Austin's family? And all this obviously comes into play as well, which I again understand him getting upset, because it's this is on film. My kids can watch this when they get older.
That's true. Yeah.
What are you doing to my family? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I mean, that is the price you pay for, putting everything on TV and stuff like that. But I think it was they were friends, so I would never think that my friend would do this to me. Right. Just because I don't want to be friends anymore, if that was a secret between them.
That's right.
Now, there was a case in point that was brought up. I didn't tell her this yet. Yeah. That was brought up, and they said, do you remember when they were at the dinner at Alex's house? It was Austin, Polly, and Tyler.
Yes.
And they were talking about Jarvis and saying she's a ring collector, whatever.
Oh yeah, I love that was the funniest thing.
And do you remember how Austin said that? Oh well, I walked into this party. And I see Jarvis there, and when I got there, it seemed like it was a swingers party, and it was what is Jarvis doing there?
Yes.
So people brought that up, and they're see, he is a swinger because Austin know about the party.
Right.
And I was well, because he said he went to a party that he was invited to, walked in. He never said he was there with his wife.
Yeah.
And he said, what is Jarvis doing there? It was weird. And so he said, didn't he say he left or something?
Yeah, he left.
I think he said that he left, or he thought it was really strange, and he was there by himself. Mm-hmm. So if someone's inviting you to a party or whatever, I think that being in the swinging community, I can see this happening, where it's someone can want to swing with you, and they're swingers, and then they're gonna invite you to see how you react to it, to see if they can poach you on it, the opportunity. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's how I think a lot of shit starts. Mm-hmm. So for them to try and use that as evidence that him and his wife are swingers, I'm what?
That's so far-fetched.
That could be literally someone inviting you because they want you to be swingers.
Yes.
Not proving that you are a swinger.
That's right. And see if you're comfortable, you down, you're not down,
Exactly. Yeah. And who cares if they are swingers?
Yeah, who cares?
If that's what works in their world, then fine. They take care of their kids, whatever. Their kids seem happy. Bratty, but seems happy. Who cares?
Yeah, no.
And that's none of OC's business anyways. If they're swingers or not, and if they want to be open about it, then that's their choice. But I think to have my friend throw me under the bus, whatever, for a storyline,
it's crazy. No, it's wild. It's crazy. And yeah, this season just seemed like Sean trying to take his moment.
Yeah, it was
take my moment before I'm getting.
Sean came out of nowhere. Yeah, nowhere, and then all of a sudden he has this whole big storyline.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous to start drama.
And
for the show.
It's fake.
Because I feel probably what people were complaining, because one of the things that I've seen online why people are complaining about the OC, why they like Selling Sunset better, is because OC has no drama. Like, the drama is really stupid. Like,
bland.
Dumb stuff, bland. So then I guess add a splash of color to it.
It
I
is.
guess this is
See, like, that's the thing. It's like, it is bland to me, but it was like, they could have easily just been like the show that just showed more houses and like more of like what they're working on and like more drama with like getting a buyer or a seller, like all that stuff, than to have it be honed in on The Office. And they could have just taken a different take than Selling Sunset, but you know what I mean, but kind of still drama, but they just centered it more on the real estate aspect, which I heard is what Buying the Beverly Hills is on Netflix. They do more like showing you houses than having drama, so they could have just done that take instead, and it didn't have to fully follow like the recipe that Selling Sunset hadn't been successful. Drama to be really annoying, and like, yes, 100% staged. Now let's get into Sean and Tyler.
Yes, okay. Sean and Tyler, yes. So that whole drama of him saying that thing like, hey, let's do impersonations, like whatever, okay. I don't think Sean doing the impersonation of Tyler was really all that bad. Obviously, it stuck a nerve with Tyler because of just his past and the reason he left his dad's company to come to here to be like, to try to get his own feet, whatever you want to call it, right? However you want to say the term. The fact that Tyler's getting upset for that and then kind of went his way to say to Sean, oh, well, you know, go sell a house. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, definitely, obviously, it struck a nerve. But I don't think Sean was really out of pocket with it because from as far as I'm concerned, like, yes, it's one thing that, yes, Tyler has a background where his dad is a company, like he can get listings from his dad, gets clients from his dad, and then he can go and sell houses and all that. I'm not going to say Sean is wrong with that because, yeah, it's an easier leg for you to be in this game having that connection versus me coming out of nowhere and me having to go get my own buyers and clients, which him not selling a house for 2 years, okay, so, like, a lot of people in real estate will tell you it takes them a long time to get there, okay? Yeah, reality TV stars make it think that, oh, you know, I hopped in and got my first, like, no, it's not like that. So I don't think it's that far-fetched. It's okay, you can come. I don't think it's that far off that 2 years is not that long to actually get a thing. I don't think that's that long. If you don't have the right connection and all that other stuff. Okay. So my last point before I let you jump on in is I would say the same thing, to be quite honest with you, that Sean
You would say the same thing to Tyler.
Yeah, like, my dad helped, like, I don't think that he was wrong.
Okay, here's what I think.
Go ahead.
I don't agree whatsoever. Okay, I agree a little bit, but however, Tyler is talking, I get it, and you're kind of like, bro, like, you're like a gold stepping stone into this business, so like, kind of try to be empathetic and see where I'm coming from. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think that Tyler can only say that because it's like, how are you even at the Oppenheim, like the O group, if you haven't sold anything? Like, sell a house before you get fired, bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think that's more where he was coming from versus like, you haven't sold anything yet. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's more so like, what are you doing here and you haven't sold anything yet?
Oh, because it's top.
Yes, because the O group is like so superior. Yeah. So that's where I think more so Tyler was coming from. I don't think he was coming from like you're in real estate. Like, what are you doing? You should be selling houses. Like, da da da. Like, I don't think he was being cocky like that. Oh god. In my opinion, I don't think that he was being cocky like that.
No, that's definitely a different side that I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, and again, Tyler's character doesn't seem like he's like an a-hole. He definitely seems like more of like the sweetheart kind of character.
And like, so and that's the thing too, where I'm like, Tyler like doesn't like Sean. He's like, I don't want to be your friend, whatever. Yeah. But he never said anything about Sean until Sean started talking out of his ass. Yes. And then started poking, and then he got to the stage where he's like, fine, I'm gonna hurt you back, whatever. But he like took a lot until he did that, and so that's why I guess I have that like narrative in my head of like, I think he's coming from more of like, what are you doing here? Yeah. Like, why are you here? Why are you in the same state that I'm in whenever I'm like above you in, you know, obviously career wise, you know, whether I have my father or not, you know what I mean? Because he can have his father and his father can give him listings. That's fine. But that doesn't mean he sells them. Like, how many times on any of the shows, like, do they have listings and they're not selling them?
No, it's
there's
very,
like a lot.
True.
There's a lot of times where they're not selling them and it's like, oh, this has been on like the market for a year. You know, so like you could have listings and be like, oh, it's just not getting sold, you know?
Yeah.
But to sell them is also something that you keep on your track record as well as getting listings itself. And just like Jarvis said, like Jarvis is saying like, oh, well, I'm not really focusing on that. I'm focusing on buyers, which means that she's focusing on showing people houses that are looking for it versus getting her own listings. Yeah. Now, Sean could be doing the same thing, and he could be like still getting commission because you could get commission as, you know, focusing on buyers, but he's not doing any of that. So it's like you're not selling anything, you're not making any commission, like you're not working at all. Is what I think Tyler is saying. Like, what are you doing? You're not producing at all, in any sense. Because I'm sure you like. There's no way if you've been here for 2 years. I don't know, like how long he's lived in LA or whatever, and like how long that's been, or OC. But you have to have friends that are buying houses, selling houses, whatever. And maybe it's not in the market of like 2 million or whatever, but like 1 million. Yeah. And like you could be showing them houses, like, or friends coming to you and being like, oh, I'm looking at houses, whatever, and then you just showing them, and then you end up being like their real estate agent. Yeah. So it's like, what are you doing? Like, it doesn't mean you have to get a listing, but it's like he's like, oh, I'm working on like making relationships with people, so da-da-da. But it's like, you got nobody, you have no friends, like none, that are buying houses, that are even looking for houses, or like, and you like can't just be like, oh, like if you want a real estate agent or whatever, whenever you sell your house next year, I'm like, you know what I mean? So
it's true, and building those connections.
Yeah.
And, you know, again,
and then you're in marketing for 8 years, he said, or whatever. All those people, like, you know, like top execs or whatever that make a lot of money or whatever, you could have been like, I'll be your real estate agent. No, it's true. Or like if their real estate agent drops the ball, like you just listen to like what they like, whatever, and you find them the house instead of their real estate agent. Even if they go to the, like, let's say the CEO of whatever marketing company he was at goes to their real estate agent that they have, because I'm pretty sure the rich people always have one on deck. And they're like, oh, my employee showed me a house, whatever, let's go see it. Sean will still get some cut of the action because he went and showed it. So like you could be doing stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I just don't think that, like, it's like, what are you doing? So that's where I get
in all honesty though, 2 years is not that long though. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's really not that long of a time. But again, it just...
Polly had 2 years.
She's a girl. She's female.
She is a girl. But guys are actually... Guys are actually... I don't think that it's like girls are better. I think that they're
girls are better. It's not even that girls are better, but it's just more that it's... Like, let's put it this way in perspective, right? There's a lot more millionaires, billionaires that are men than women. Right? So if I'm going to go to a woman, they're going to... Thank you. So I just think it's a little bit... And again, like, when you're watching the show...
Unless they're friends, though.
Unless they're friends, right?
Which is my point.
And then also, too, like, here's my thing. Like, who knows what Sean is... Like, clearly, we don't even know, right? But honestly, him... Like, if you do Polly versus Sean, it's kind of like, hey, Polly is a woman. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe she dove in better. Like, it's just... You know what I mean? I just think it can come across more like in a conversation... Speaking to a woman and okay, you work together. Like, it's just like reminds me of the first episode of Selling Sunset when Maya's with that guy and he's like, oh, you're harder than my last real estate agent. Oh, I'll go with you. Like, stuff like that, right? So I just think, not that I'm gonna discredit Polly because I'm sure she worked her butt off, right? But I'm just saying, as a woman, it's... But
there's also the niche that I was saying that like Sean could be hitting on.
Right. Yeah, that he's not.
And it's like, you know, work that angle. Yeah. If you want to. Yeah. Anyways, so that is the drama with just Sean.
Yeah. With Sean, with that.
Let's jump into the most annoying person ever. There's a few. But I'm talking about Allie.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Allie
was, her shining moment.
You know, produced to us last season as a maybe. Will she be joining us next season? And unfortunately, they decided to cast her. And now this girl is not a licensed agent yet, but she has a lot of screen time. And she has a lot to say. And I honestly would not be taking anything from her. I'd be like, why are you here every single time she shows up to, like, work events and all those things? Because I'm like, you're not a worker yet. So, like, why are you getting the benefits that I'm getting? And I'm meant to be producing and, like, making Jason money. But, like, she doesn't get to do that. But she gets all the benefits that I get. She gets
to come to the parties, chit-chat, like, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think that, like, that's crazy. Yeah. So, I just can't stand her. Like, what is your opinion?
So the thing is, I actually liked Allie. I actually wanted her to join the cast because it was like, you know, I thought her and Jarvis could be cool, you know, being the, what do you call it, Southern Belles? Yeah, Southern Belles. I kind of liked that, you know what I mean? I thought that her and Jarvis could have paired together, like how she was with Rose, and that this is the new, that. Didn't get any of that. She 100% embarrassed herself this season, especially when it comes to the real estate side, because you know me, I don't want you to be talking unless you're selling a house. Like, that's how I've been saying it from Selling Sunset, and my girl dropped the ball big time. It looks like she's more having fun. It literally seems like she's literally the one, like, the girl that goes to college and her parents are paying all this money for her to actually learn something, and she doesn't go to class and all she does is party.
Yeah, well, isn't her boyfriend supposedly like in the NFL or something? Like that?
Like he's
rich.
Yeah, something like that. So that literally is what it looks like, that she's just wasting her time trying to party and being all in with the girls and not do anything. And then she acted very, very unprofessional in times of events where she's supposed to be learning. Doesn't like that whole thing whenever she's supposed to be doing Gio's open house was just, oh gosh, I couldn't watch it. I had to watch it like this.
Yeah, I honestly had like secondhand embarrassment, which is really bad. I get it a lot, and it was hard for me to watch. Like, I had to put it on mute. It was like super hard because I just don't understand not being prepared. And then on top of that too, you don't really work there yet. You still have to prove yourself, and like you can't. So what are you really doing? Like, you're just having fun at all the parties that they have, but then, like, you can't even, make your own there, basically.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, no. And, yeah, just really secondhand embarrassment. So, we don't know what's going to happen to her next season. Maybe she may not be cast. Maybe she kicks her butt in gear and she actually starts selling some else. I don't know, but it's not looking good for Allie right now. Let's talk about, I guess, just the Brandy. Let's just talk about Brandy here briefly, like really, really quickly. Brandy and Polly situation there. So obviously with this season, last season Brandy Hall drama, obviously they're not friends now. From what we saw from the Selling Sunset reunion, they're definitely not friends. And they ain't never going to be friends again. Absolutely not. And we know that her and Polly had a little bit of a going different ways, separate ways on this as well. So this season we see that Brandy's trying to take it in her own and, comes up very smartly with taking on the sports division, which makes sense because her husband played pro sports. She's kind of taking on that division. So with that being said to me though, no worries, sorry. So like her taking on the sports division and actually telling Jason like, hey, could you put some more marketing to it? I want to head this, which makes sense. She definitely knows what she's looking for with, sports athletes. She knows her stuff. All right. So this brings me to my thing with this guy, Keelan, which plays in NFL for the Chargers.
He's fine, girl.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Yeah, he was definitely very attractive. It automatically gives him as a client to Polly. Immediately, I'm kind of like, why? Whenever Brandy's the one that does the sports, like, that doesn't make sense. And she's the one who told you that to take it on. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you give him to Polly? And then I think to myself, in my headspace, the only reason why I think Jason gave Keelan to Polly, single, attractive. That's the only thing I can think. He's new to the town, wants to have someone that can show him a good time, sell him a house at the same time. That's the only way I can think that is. Okay. Or maybe Polly, or maybe potentially Polly is on like a hot streak. Like,
she was, because she sold 3 houses this season.
Right. So maybe it's a little bit of that and more strategic, but at the same time, Brandy, I think, is still really, really good when she has her showing and she has already carved out her niche. And makes like a whole lot more sense.
But here's the thing: she gave the idea to Jason, and he's like, "Yes, I was thinking about doing this. Like, this is a good idea. Thank you for being on the same page." Blah blah.
And take it on.
Yeah, take it on. Sure.
Yeah.
But I also think that he was like, "Okay, yes, this would have been a perfect opportunity," but at the same time, it's like he's an important client because obviously, it's just like one of those things, like he's in a mass field, and so it's like his teammates have 30 people on the team. Yeah. Easily any one of them looking for houses would be like, oh, go to the O group. That's such a big thing of like marketing, just if you do it right the one time that you can get later. No, for sure. Because word of mouth is the most powerful marketing.
Absolutely.
So,
and she already had sorry to cut you off, she already had 4 other athletes already that she was finding them houses for already, so it just makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
but Polly also was the one that it was surefire to sell it. Do you know what I mean? Because she was selling them.
Yeah, like she was on a hot
versus
streak.
Brandy that was like, Brandy had people that whatever, but it wasn't like, I don't know, she hasn't been consistent from what we've seen, but we're seeing Polly be consistent. So basically it's like if you have a student and they're an A+ student versus someone that is a B student and they're slowly getting their A, who are you gonna have tutor your kid?
Yeah, you'll have the A+. No, you'll definitely have the A+.
Yeah.
But it's kind of almost to say, you don't even know, because we didn't really hear that much backstory. I'll be honest with you. When it comes to selling OC, we didn't really get so much backstory of some of these like actual characters. Like I feel like in Selling Sunset when it comes to the real estate background, things like that. So it's like hard to say. All I know is that Brandy, like obviously because she moved here, so she's starting to get to know everybody. Obviously Paulina moved here too, right? So again, not too sure, but I mean they're collabing, so hopefully it works and it goes. But yeah, just watching Paulie just with him, oh let me throw you the like flirty.
I don't mind.
It's okay though. No,
yeah,
it's
like
fine.
I didn't mind. I mean, I'm obviously still upset with Brandy from the last season, so but I didn't mind. Like I understood why Jason gave it to Paulie in the professional sense. I didn't understand it for you agreeing for Brandy to start the division. Yeah. So it was like, what is going on? Misconnect, I think. But I also don't think he was thinking about that at the time.
No.
Like, he probably forgot. It was, like, out of his mind, you know?
Yeah.
And then that's why whenever later at the office, he was like, okay, yeah, you guys work on it together. Because he's like, oh, yeah, Brandy, you are part of the division. So he did, like, you know what I mean? Remember? And then, so I do think he literally forgot. Yeah. Which, like, whatever. He has a bunch of different offices. Like, they opened now a San Diego one.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
And I just think that Brandy would have done a better job with it just because she's been working with others. She would know 100%, like, hey, yeah, pro athletes, gated communities, like, you can't just be having anything. Yeah. Because she would have dealt with it before. Like, you know, like when she was showing her one client the house, like, mentioning all the things, like, pro athlete, you're probably going to want this, probably going to want, and they're like, yeah, you know what, like, so I think that she would have done a better job, but what Paulie did wasn't bad. It was just because she's still trying to get to know her client, but I just think Brandy being in that sports world, she would have known, okay, yeah.
But apparently, like, there was a thing where, like, whenever your client doesn't know what they want, you just show them any house so they can tell you. So that's right. I think it was, like, the tester house, like which... That. Even if, like, because even Brandy, when she was showing her client, that guy from that plays basketball or whatever, and she was showing him whatever, like, he didn't buy that house. So it was still, like, she didn't realize what he wanted specifically still. Like, yeah, you showed the gated community, but it was like, okay, I want something that's, not, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's see if they can collab and get some sort of relationship back. I mean, it seems like everybody in the office is beef except for the four, which is Gio, Austin, Tyler, Hall. That's what it basically looks like. Other drama we could talk about is the Kayla and Hall one, where she really went on the podcast and badmouthed her and used her full name.
Podcast and said that Kayla was psycho, needed serious medical attention, serious on like a mental health kick, and just bashing her, saying that she needed drugs because she was literally scared that she was psycho. And Hall straight up lies. And see, I liked Hall. I really did. I liked her in season 1. Season 2, I was like, okay, I can get how people hate her, but I wasn't turned off. And then this season, I was like, girl, why'd you just straight up lie? And then she goes and says, I didn't remember that it was about you. And I was like, so how many people do you talk bad about that you don't remember talking on a podcast about somebody? No, you know what I mean? It was more so me thinking of that than her lying about Kayla.
No, yeah.
I was like, if you're seriously telling me you don't remember, that's even more of a problem of why I don't want to be your friend. Because then you talk so bad about so many different people as soon as you're in like a stupid fight with them that you don't remember that it was me. If it was like, yes, Kayla, it was you, and like I should have owned up to it, but everyone was coming at me, and I just wanted them to like get out of my face, especially since I had nothing to do with them, I'd respect that 100% more.
No, 100%. Like, the fact that she's like, no, it's not you. Like, you know it was. As soon as I recollected your memory, you would have got recollected of your memory when I said, oh, you went on a podcast, then you'd be like, oh, shoot, yeah.
Yeah. And even like, then I would have addressed it because I would have been like, okay, yeah, it was about Kayla, but it was because she did this and this to me and started a rumor, da-da-da-da-da. And so, yeah, maybe I said it and I was saying it more in, like, colloquial terms than it being serious, and I understand now like allegations can get really serious and I shouldn't have said it that way. My apologies. And that's it. That's all you have to do to address it. But because you went on like a total rampage, lied about it later, whatever, it's like, okay, how do you have any credibility basically? And I mean, I don't like anyone on the show. I respected Kayla in the sense of her being like, okay, yeah, I'll just, you know, take you for what you're saying to me, and like we can go back to being civil, because it's just like, whatever, I need to be civil with these hoes to get my money, and I'll respect that basically. I don't like Kayla, I can't stand her, but I respected her in that instance. I lost respect for Hall. Did I have respect for anybody on the show? I don't think so.
No, it's tough.
The show is really tough to like anybody. It really is tough. Like,
so I was just gonna say, like, for me, I agree with you. Like, good on Kayla that she just was like, okay, we'll give you a clean slate. She wasn't really into having beef back and forth, even though she would have every right to in this case. Like, you badmouthed me, like, really badly like that. And Hall, it was good for her to actually own up to it. And, like, I'm happy that they had that hug at the end. I was like, okay, at least there's some hope for that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's not a lot of, like, camaraderie really happening when it comes to the girls, except for Hall and Polly. Like, I really want to see people collabing on houses and things together, more like instilling.
And I mean, Allie was right in one instance when she was like, "You're a mom too. Like, why would you talk about another mom like that?"
Yeah, you guys were both
and like ruin her business. You guys are both trying to hustle for your kids. Why are you going to do that?
Yeah,
that was the only thing that I ever agreed with her at all.
And her kind of writing out for her friend, she just did it in the wrong way, like not in a professional.
The complete wrong way, but she also I think overstepped like
slightly
a lot because like I said, like you're not even in this office yet. Like you're having way too much of an opinion.
Yeah, no, for sure, absolutely.
Get your license first.
Get your license first, yeah. So yeah, no, and then obviously we have the last, like very last drama with Tyler and Sean at the very end, to say the least. And I guess that was Tyler's like, yeah, I'm out. I'm leaving this office. I'm going back to my dad. Which I would have loved to have actually have seen him stay per se and like just let Sean leave because you know what I mean, and like Tyler actually stay because he actually sells some houses and I was.
But I think he was over being on the show as well.
Yeah, because everything got circled in on his drama and he's getting portrayed as a not so nice of a guy, and I know he is a nice guy from what we can hear about. So I guess yeah, that makes sense, but I don't know. Next season, I don't know who we're watching because again, Jarvis is not even on this. Is not even on the show anymore, and she was my favorite. So and we didn't really see much of her anyways. So I'm like, great. Well, if there's another scene, let's hope we have some redemption. But I don't really see.
I think that this should be the end, and they should just bring back Selling Tampa because maybe that could be better and fill the spot and just leave it at Selling Sunset because I don't think that they got likable characters at all. Honestly, like. Let us know who you like down below because and why, because maybe you can persuade me. I want to be persuaded, honestly, because, you know, there's not a lot on Netflix that I like that I am not rewatching. Right. So try and persuade me, please, if they renew it. I don't know. We don't know yet. So, but anyways, let us know. Do you agree with us on anything? Do you have a strong opinion about something that we did not say? Let us know in the comments down below.
And we will see you guys next time for I Watch You Watch. We got a special video for you guys. Bye, guys. Key out.
Treasure out.